Topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
And you're listening to Until Now with Rosie Pekar, where we talk to ordinary people with extraordinary experiences. And for those wanting to join in the chat today, just head on over to w4cy.com and there'll be a button there you can click on. We're going to be having Deb Webber on today, who was the star of a TV series, a hit TV series called Sensing Murder, with some festive foresight. Because especially at this time of year, when there's a lot of us that are full of festivities and frolicking and fun and good times to be had, there's equally as many and possibly even more that have difficulty and challenges and struggle. It's sort of always those momentous times of year that we have that chance to not be distracted by all the hecticness and busyness of work and life as it normally is, that we immerse ourselves in memories of the past that for some of us may not be so good. I've got one a close friend on my Facebook account who I know at this time of year, Christmas Day in particular, is very difficult for her. It was here in Australia, and for those that are listening, you've probably worked out by now, I am Australian, and we're in the middle of the day at the moment while you guys are getting closer towards bedtime over there in the US, and we're rather hot while you're rather cool. Well, not all areas, as I'm told. But on this particular day here in Australia at Bondi Beach, which is a popular beach in an area that I was a police officer in the surrounds for many years, that particular Christmas Day, as many Australians do at Christmas time, we go to the beach and we have our barbecue. And no, we do not put a prawn on the barbecue. Most of us have chops and snags, which is sausages and chops. I guess you call them the same thing over there. And as she enjoyed her day, her husband, a long-term marriage, has gone out to enjoy his swim, as sadly of which he never returned. Now, again, that's a memory that Christmas Day is never going to feel festive. It's never going to feel fun, and it's never going to be frolicking for her. However, she does have her choice of focus. And dear, my girlfriend, who is, I'm not going to mention her name, is delightful and lovely and is approaching her 90s. So in approaching her 90s, she's learned how to fine-tune her focus, that her difficulty, her challenges and her despair doesn't become the gift and the present or presence that she brings to every occasion. She has her point of focus that she redirects, and she selects her focus that she's going to bring in. Now, what that simply means is that every minute and every moment we're always at choice. And now people go, Rosie, I can't be at choice. I can't even afford this. This is, busting my budget. There's so much different, do you know who I've lost at this time? These were pivotal people in my life. The depth of tragedy and despair, unfortunately, is a human experience. There's not going to be too many people you can talk to in today's world and environment that haven't lost loved ones. And I don't mean that to sound callous at all. I mean that to say it, to put it into a perspective and a point and a balance, that you can no longer hang your life up on a hook and say, I am no longer going to enjoy any more moments because a great part of what I enjoyed of life has gone. It is now our time that we redirect that focus onto what is enjoyable, what is of value. And most people that are on their deathbed do not say, they want to go out and buy more Christmas decorations, that they wish they'd purchased particular presents to put under the tree. It is the gift, the presence that you bring. It is you, full stop. Put a period there. You. Why are you? Or let's abbreviate in today's language, just the letter U. That's what we bring at Christmas. That is what our gift is. That is what our memory is. And for those that don't want to say Christmas, that want to say happy holidays, it's an opportunity. It's not the words that matter. It's the energy that you bring in to the environment, to the space. This is just a pivotal point in time to remember what is important, what is of value in your life. And those are relationships. It is love, pure and simple. It is those that we have the good fortune to say that are there for us, be it in good times or in not so good times. Now, again, those that are in difficulty, it's hard to whack a smile on the dial at times. I've been there myself personally, as well as professionally. And again, in losing someone recently, now is not that time. Now is the time that you reflect on the memories and the recollections that do feel a little bit better. You're looking for relief. You're not looking for feeling fantastic and fabulous. You're looking for moments of relief and joining more of those moments of relief together. Because the one thing I know, and I'll be really excited when Deb does get on board here, trusting that her, I spoke with her just beforehand and she was having challenges with the laptop, so they're attempting to get those sorted out. But the one thing I know would be her strong message at this point in time, and my message is that those that we have loved, we have never ever lost. And it is at these times of year that we know that they are near and dear. And we know that they are wanting us to know that if we've ever been loved by them, they never stop loving us. It doesn't disappear. Love is, it's like life. Life is, it's eternal. If you live now, in a sense, you never ever die. The difference is, as human beings, we're indoctrinated and conditioned into a particular belief that says that, this is all that there is, when there is so much more than we've ever imagined or bargained for. Now, I've just realized as I'm talking to you guys that I can't see the live chat. So for those that do want to join in, it's W4CY Radio or W4CY.com. And you can click on the link, join the conversation at any time and ask your questions that you may have that you want to have addressed at this point in time. Now, as far as spirit is concerned, and I've had the good fortune of, we've been putting together a TV series where we feature a lot of different psychics and those with abilities that the average person, I guess, has not been trained and educated and learnt to develop to the skills that these guys have. And that is the one message that comes through, is that you are never alone. You are never by yourself. There is no point in time that our loved ones do not see or aren't aware of everything that is going on in our lives and happening in our lives. And they're excited and they look forward to all these moments. They look forward to the gatherings. They look forward to the laughter. So it's not to say that, grief should be experienced in only one set way. There was a question only a few weeks ago saying, the many stages and varieties of grief that there is. Oh, we've got Deb. I'll be introducing her very shortly. So as far as grief is concerned, everyone experiences it in their own way. And I don't believe in putting a right or wrong on experiences. Your experience is genuine and true to yourself, irrespective what time of year it is, irrespective what's going on. However, none of us are getting out of this life alive. So therefore, the more moments we can make memorable and add some festivity, some lightness, some laughter and light into, is what I would expand upon. And now that Deb's here to join me, I'd probably see what she thinks is her festive message that she would get year after year after year from Spirit to share with those listening. Hey,
Hi,
Deb,
Rosie.
good to see you join me.
Thank you. Hi. Sorry about that. We were having a bit of Skype problem.
Oh, it happens. It happens. Same with here. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm really glad I didn't prepare for this, but gee whiz, lucky I know a lot about Spirit to keep waffling on for a long period of time.
Yeah, that's good. You said something about a message from Spirit every year. Funny that you've mentioned that, because I think it was yesterday I was talking to a girl and we were talking about New Year's resolutions. And we decided that the New Year's resolution should be look after yourself more.
Exactly, exactly. Find more fun, find more ways to feel good and less ways to feel bad. That's always been my mantra for the last few years.
Absolutely. And also, if you've got problems, and as people call them issues, I actually don't like that word
Mm,
issues, but if you've got problems, because issue seems to be very heavy and you can't change things, and
yes.
that's just my perception of
Yeah.
that word issue. But if you have a problem, there's always a solution and you can always help try and fix it. So and the other thing is, if there's any problems in your life, is actually seek out help. Go to a good therapist, go to a shaman, go to a doctor, go to a psychologist, go to a Reiki master, a kinesiologist. And that's what the message from me would be for the whole year for everyone. Seek help, get the help, and
Exactly.
don't
And
dwell
for
on
those
things that are unnecessary.
those that are really lazy that don't want to leave the house, there's loads even online that they can access and seek. Like I know Esther Hicks, all her videos, I've utilized them on many occasions.
Absolutely. YouTube's fantastic. And even just people write things up on, all the media like Facebook and everything. I mean, it's all out there.
Exactly.
If people need help, they can actually get it. But I mean, it's different from actually reading something, and that's okay. But if you have a blockage or a problem that's been, from your childhood, for an example, a lot of the time you can't do that over the internet because you actually need to go to a shaman or Reiki master or someone or a kinesiologist or a hypnotherapist to actually shift the energy side of it. And that's why
Yeah.
you have the therapists on earth to shift, old belief systems.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's deeper. You can't actually, I've never been able to find that you can actually shift those things online. You can get a band-aid, but you can't change it completely unless you actually go to therapy.
And again, it would, I guess, in certain cases depend on the individual, because some individuals, I think, would have a greater capacity for the energy level that they can resonate with than some others that may be, I guess, in a weakened state, or that benefit far greater from that amplified experience of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And even myself, I have problems every so often that come up in me, things from the past. And, I
Oh,
go
we
to,
all do.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't read a lot. I learned through my personal experiences. Plus, I work more and learn from spirit themselves, like the masters. I actually get the
Exactly.
information firsthand. So I don't Google a lot or anything, or
Yes.
YouTube a lot. But I know there's good stuff out there. There's also some really harmful things. You've got to be careful of that.
And that's a
But I
question
myself, I
that's
go
come up.
to a therapist. I have a kinesiologist that I go to, and I also have a shaman that I go. Well, I don't actually physically go to them. I can do it over the telephone with them, or I can do it through
Yes.
Skype, and they do the
Yes.
treatment for me because I'm attached to my emotions. And also, humans have denial. We think we're okay, and we're not.
Oh, exactly. Well, that's what our feelings were invented for, to let us know, hey, we're on track or we're off track. And one of the questions that's mentioned here, like they've already asked the question, do you have any messages coming through to tell us, which you told us right at the start that there was a message yesterday that, find more ways to feel good, look after self more. But we've also been asked, can we trust these people to tell us the truth? Well, you're coming from one woman who's a previous police officer and from law enforcement investigations background over 16 years, and another who works in amongst the controversy that exists within all spiritual presenters, psychics, clairvoyants. And so you'd have an answer that may be very similar to mine. So I'll go with your answer first, Deb. Can we trust these people to tell us the truth?
But which people are we talking about?
Well, if you turn to people that, like you've mentioned, recommend to go to different,
Okay.
shamans, energy workers.
Okay. Well, I the ones I go to, I trust completely with my whole life and my children's life and everything. I find that if I go to someone and they haven't tuned into my energies very well, if I get an uncomfortable feeling with them and not me, not my own problem or my own issue, as some people say, But if I have a problem with that person not being able to pick up about me, because I go to people that read as well, so they have to tell me about myself a little bit first. And if they tune into my energies, I go, "Oh yeah, I know you know, you're spot on." But if someone can't read my energies, I actually just don't go to them anyway myself. So I'm really choosy. So
you're
you have to
establishing
make
that
sure.
validity.
Absolutely, you should, no matter what, with anyone, really.
Yes, exactly.
You know, it's not like you can go to a doctor and they're going to read your energies, because that's not what they do. But I'm talking about, you know, kinesiologists and acupuncturists. Like, acupuncturists don't tune into you and do a reading, but I believe that, you know, if you've done an acupuncture course, my God, you're a damn good acupuncturist, because you've actually gone through the whole course of doing it. So I think at times people should ask for certificates. You can't ask a psychic for a certificate because we don't have them. And because we were just born psychic, and everyone is, like I said in the last show that we did. Yes. But with anyone that's been trained, so, you know, the therapists I go to are not backyarders. They've actually done the proper courses. They've done 3 or 4 years of study.
And many people rely on their own intuitive self, irrespective what career or practice they go to, be they an investigator, be they a doctor, be they a kinesiologist, whatever role. We've always got spirit inside us directing and guiding, irrespective what role. But she's clarified the question and said, no, the people you said to turn to, meaning me, who I mentioned, Esther Hicks online. Esther Hicks has a huge and a massive following. And I tend to say is like all information, judge it for yourself. Does the material sound reasonable and realistic to you? If it challenges you, ask, where does it challenge you? Is it challenging you with things that you want to hang on to that are no longer serving you? Or is it empowering and enhancing you by letting go of those things that are holding you back? So it's like all information. But if they're saying spend, you know, $600 before we give you part B, I'd run for the hills.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't even be paying them for the first part of it. No,
exactly.
I'd give them half, you know, a little bit for their time and say thank you very much. But at the same time, yes, people should know, like these people that they listen to, take what fits with you, and if it doesn't fit with you, take it away. You know, don't take it on board. But like you just said, Rosie, it might be a problem that someone's holding on to, or denial that they've got, then that's why it's, you know, made them feel uncomfortable as well.
Exactly.
So you've got it. You know, to me, I'm probably, you know, I'm not naive at all, but I choose to believe everyone. But I also have, you know, because I'm a psychic reader, I really listen to my gut instinct about people. And if I get an awkward feeling with them, I just don't bother going to them, you know, literally, because even if I've got an awkward feeling with a therapist myself, or someone I'm reading about, you know, reading their articles or something like that, well, it's not sitting right with me, so I'm not going to take it in, am I, and get healed? It's going to cause me more problem. So I would seek out someone else to listen to and learn from. But you've got, definitely listen to yourself when it comes to anything like that. And it's funny because you said, you know, do we believe the people that we listen to? And you just said, well, you know, that you come from the police background and everything. And the first thing that came to my mind was, you know, there's a lot of corrupt police people out there. And I've known you for like forever, and I know you're not corrupt. So, you know, you can trust Rosie. Yeah, but there are a lot of it. It doesn't matter what background you've got. It's the person within. It's the person's heart and soul, and you know, knowing that for us too, for myself and for you, like I know that we're honest and we're good people and we've got a good intent. But you know, there's so many out there that really they think they have, but they haven't, and so you've really got to, you know, go with recommendations from other people. That's what I say.
Most definitely. And I know, like I searched, I've got feedback on this. I'm wondering why.
Oh, good.
No,
feedback
I'm listening to myself twice, which is the first time. I don't know whether this can, that's maybe going to be better. That's better. It's sorted out. I was hearing to myself twice. I thought that's going to mess with my head in no time at all. I guess that's a bit like listening to spirit, listening to yourself talk and them coming in over the top and going, okay, now which one am I listening to? Oh, I'll choose to listen to them. A bit of a vaster experience. And I guess that's what we're saying for people of who you would turn to. You take on board, you know, what I do for myself personally is take on board what everyone has to say, even if I think they're off with the fairies. And because I may not be up to speed with that, And at a later date, when I look at it, I may be up to speed with it and now find a place and space for it in my life. Or I may discover, no, I still think it's a load of twaddle. I'm throwing it in the bin. But either way, I've empowered myself in becoming the senior advocate for what I accept in all relationships, be they business relationships, personal relationships. And you're correct, like integrity of a person is the key thing. But if we ourselves are lacking in our own integrity, it becomes challenging to find that outside of ourselves when we don't have it inside of ourselves first off.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. You said something back then, and I had a thought, and then I forgot it. Isn't that really handy? That's so funny. But I've got a few things in my head because I'll just double back. Can we just go back to what we were talking about? Got that message from Spirit about everyone should look after themselves a lot better. And one part of that came through with us was, take holidays. And people go, oh, I can't afford it. And it's like, well, if you say you can't afford something, of course, you're not going to be able to afford it. I think I've mentioned that before.
Yes.
So never say you can't afford anything. But also, people can pay things off. A small amount of money, I have a sister and she goes on ship liner cruises every year. Well, I think it's pretty much every year she'll go on one. It might be a short one and, the next year it might be quite long, like for 30 days or something. But what she does, she actually pays them off over a period of 12 months. And then right at the end, she's only got a little bit of money to put on it. She's got one job, like pretty much everyone else in this. Well, no, a lot of people have got 1 or 2, 3 jobs. I mean, I've been there, done that too. But if she can afford to do it, that little bit away, but she doesn't, she doesn't go out, she doesn't waste her money. She actually pays off holidays. So she gets a good holiday every year. And and retreats, like spiritual retreats, healing retreats. They're well worth taking because you learn how to make life a lot better. And that is nurturing self, learning how to meditate, how to look after self in many, many different aspects, your diet, exercise.
And taking the break from being hectic and stressed and non-stop and go, and got to get here, got to be there, got to answer this person, got to do that. That's the life that most people, especially in the US that do a lot of commuting or even within Australia in the cities that have that stressful lifestyle. It's the key thing they say is for a lot of people, not necessarily finding the money, finding the time. And I used to say to people, we can make time or the universe will make it for you. You can have a trip to the hospital or you can have a trip to Hawaii. I know which one I'd pick.
Well, that's the thing. And I wake up in the morning and think, what do I need to do today? And I usually pick 1 or 2 things that I have to do. And then after that, if I get anything else done for the day, I just say that's a bonus because I get an overload. I've got thousands of emails that come in the week and everything, and we can't keep up with all the work side of it. So I just go, well, you know what? This thing can wait and I'm going to go for a walk, or this thing can wait and, I'm going to watch a movie. Or meditate or whatever. But you actually have to get up earlier in the morning sometimes and spend half an hour just sitting outside and breathing.
And I was going to say at this time of year, I'm just going to put to the listeners, if you've got a big issue that comes up at Christmas time, throw it out there for us now to answer. But I know one thing that I get a lot of people reporting to me is the difficulties with relatives and relations. Those people you don't see until this time of year. You're all thrust together into that one mixing pot and then see whether it combusts, explodes, implodes. What happens? What's Spirit's insight for that?
Well, that's what I think was the first message about having that. Well, the second message I think it was about going and having healing. I mean, I have a beautiful family. I really, really do. I'm blessed with that. But we have our quirks and we have disagreements. But the beautiful thing with us, we look at ourselves and go, all right, why have I got an issue over that problem with that sibling? Like if I have something with my sister, I don't look at my sister and go, oh, I'm blaming you because I'm feeling angry about something. I actually look at myself and go, okay, why am I angry? Why have I made myself angry about something? And I usually get the answer pretty quick, and then we're back on track again. And the other thing we do in our family is we apologise when we're rude or we're angry with each other or we hurt each other. And it doesn't happen a lot, but when it does happen, we actually apologise. If there's something deeper, I have been known, again, to go to a kinesiologist and get it removed from me to raise my vibrations above it. So I think, through the year, if you're going to have an issue, you just keep your mouth shut and look at your own self. Tell you the truth. It's no point in arguing with anyone because no human brain can remember exactly the words that were said in the past or a situation, how something happened.
Exactly.
So,
We like to colour and embellish and add on to and magnify and dramatise.
Yeah, and it's a waste of energy and it makes you feel bad arguing with someone or getting stressed about something. And this is why practicing on a spiritual level with the deep breathing side of it. And, I do different exercises when we do our workshops, and one is spinning. And to do the spinning, it can lighten you so much, especially if you're feeling frustrated or tense or angry or, just stressed. Stress covers a lot of negative emotions. And all you got to do is stand on your feet, have your feet slightly apart, and feel the weight of your body on your feet. Now, if you're feeling really heavy, just do a couple of spins, 3 spins, you turn around in a circle and stop. Now, you'll either feel lighter or you'll feel heavier. If you're feeling lighter, fantastic, do another spin. If you feel heavy, then go spin the opposite direction. And you'll notice it actually makes you feel tall. It puts your chakra bases. If people know about chakras, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, it's another show.
But it aligns the spine, it aligns the aura, and it makes you actually feel a lot better. Those spinning, plus with the deep breathing right down to the stomach, and you hold it to the count of 12 and breathe in through your nose if you can, and exhale through your mouth, but you really exhale like you've got no oxygen left, and then inhale deep again, hold it to the count of 12 and let it go. Do that 3 times and you'll notice all that tension just washes off your body. And so if you've got family members and you're feeling like that, sorry?
Our cells love oxygen. We would never age and experience illness or disease if every cell stayed oxygenated. So the more opportunities to take deep breathing, that's the best youthing mechanism that we have. And as George Burns said, the secret to his old age, keep breathing.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say that we won't get diseases or anything. But but it's true that we need oxygen through our body, and people don't do that. So at Christmas, at this time of the year, if there's issues with, family members, hey, go to the bathroom and do your deep breathing, do a few spins, and start saying, well, I'm blessed to actually have this person in my life, and I'll look at my issue later. So go to therapy and figure out what your problem, your issue, whatever you want to call it, is. You figure it out. It's yours. It's not theirs. And the other thing I'm doing, Rosie, this year to do with our family is we're not doing gifts. Mm-hmm. We've decided no more gifts, no more Christmas gifts. We buy gifts through the year when we find something we think, oh, that'd be nice for my sister or it'd be nice for my child or whatever. We're actually not doing gifts. We're doing
for our listening audience, Deb, your children are now aged
24 and 25.
Exactly. So we're not talking about children that are 5, 6, 9, 12.
No.
We're talking about adult children that now they're choosing to no longer because otherwise I can see so many disappointed little kids.
No.
For them, it's the unwrapping experience. I don't think it's so much about what it's contained. I think it's just the opportunity to learn, to practice, to give and to receive.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's true because thank you for doing that age about my children because they are my children, but they're older. They're adults.
Yes.
But no, I've got a granddaughter and she's coming. And of course, we've got a pressie for her and I've got a couple for my nephews, and they're, what are they now? I don't know, 9 and 10 or something. But we've got to the point where no adults, I should say adults, not children. We are not doing gifts for the adults. And we've all decided that because we thought, it costs a lot of money. It does put stress on people. It builds up people's credit cards through the year. And it's like, well, why do you give a gift in the first place? That's not what it's about. The gift is actually being with someone or just send them a message or ring them and say, I love you and Merry Christmas. I mean, that to me means a lot. I don't need to have physical items.
I think that adults like, especially when you are the parent of younger children, is I like joining with my child to create or make things that we give to the adults. So it's actually an energy and it's something that will probably end up in the bin.
Yeah, but it does. You made it together and you made it for someone
once they're out of eyesight. Exactly.
Well, we always
and that
made
person
our
receives
cards.
it's personalised. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so there are
we
much
made our
cheaper
Christmas
ways
cards.
of doing Christmas. I think that's a very important message that you share, because it has become a very commercial time of year, and people forget that the message in many ways was just about our presence, on honouring our presence, how we show up on the planet, not just on one day of the year, but every day of the year. And it's our opportunity to reconfigure how we are showing up in our life and everyone else's.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we're just bringing food, and I think if the whole world just decided to stop the gifts with the adults and just bring a plate of food and have a beautiful day, and of course, every year we have orphans, people without families. We've got, I don't know, we've got probably about 10 this year. Yeah, probably they're popping in and out during the day.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful thing too, because we open up the home every year and say, look, if you haven't got anyone, we send a little message out. And we've just been gathering people, I think, over the years.
Exactly. Well, I've always been that Christmas orphan, so I certainly know from
well, you can come up to
the
ours,
other side of the perspective. No, we've got plans for this year.
Yeah. Sorry, Rosie.
You got split up.
Yeah, I keep losing you a little bit on my Skype, so I'm missing some of your words.
Oh, that's okay. I was going to say I'm good for this year, thanks, Deb, but I make it all for Dane, so that way he has the experience of that. Yeah. He understands that it's not just about what he gets as gifts, but also about what we can give to others and how we do show up. That's my message and what I like it to be about. Every individual will have their own unique take, but I think so long as it's something that leaves them feeling better than leaves them feeling worse, because if it's something that's leaving you feeling worse for wear, Christmas needs to be revised.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a sad people. Now, I have a lot of people that have lost family members and, on Christmas Day, but also people that are, it might be the first Christmas without their child, without their mum, without their dad. I mean, there's death
those firsts are rough
every day.
Yeah,
every day, absolutely.
Exactly.
Now, what I've come for myself and my learning of that, because my parents are deceased, and having the first Christmas without my dad, because I had Christmas with him pretty much every year of my life, so that was over 50 years, that I had Christmas with my dad. And when I didn't have Christmas with him, it was, Dad, you know what? And I wake up in the morning and I said, Merry Christmas, Dad. Merry Christmas, Mum, Granny, Granddad, and Nana and everyone. And then I said, I'm going to enjoy this day for you. And that's what it was. Yes. That was my message to me, because I thought, they don't want me to mope around. No. My family would not like that at all. And it's the same as if when I die, I don't want my children feeling like they can't celebrate birthdays or Christmas or anything. So I've taught them, I said something the other day, actually, and to someone, and my daughter turned around and said, I'll be devastated when you die. And of course, and I turned around and said, no, you're not allowed to be. And
just so there's no point being devastated, because I'll be there watching everything you do. And if you step out of line, I'm going to be letting you know it.
Well, I said to her, that's the thing. That is so correct. I will be there watching you, and I'll be checking you out. And I said, but you have to live your life for me now. Like, when I die, I want you to live your life like I really want you to excel. I want to see the best you can have in your life, because as a spirit, I can feel it. I can sense it. I can feel it. I can still see it. And that's what would make my soul happy to see. So
and what a wonderful message for those listening. I've got repeat again on Skype. This is most unusual today, to listen to myself twice.
The echo.
Yes, it's unusual. That's getting a bit better.
Right. Yeah, Christmas is a very, very difficult time for a lot of families and a lot of people. And I think if you're alone, one is you never have to be alone on Christmas, because, the churches do great lunches. I've been to a church lunch for Christmas and it was fantastic. So people can try and get out there and ask someone to help them get out there, even if it is a church. And I'm not religious. I better put that in there. I'm not religious, but I do believe in everything, and I do believe in Jesus and Virgin Mary and everything. I believe in everyone and everything. I don't think I've got the right to judge anyone's belief systems about what they want to believe in their life. No way would I do that. But, especially with parents that have lost their children, remember they are there. They are looking at you. They are watching you. So you wish them Merry Christmas, and then you enjoy the people around you, because you've got to remember one day, we will die.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, we're here, enjoy it, because when we pass, we will see those that have gone, and we will hang out with them. And so we might as well enjoy the ones we've got here also.
And sometimes it's the memory that you want to maintain in your thoughts. Like I know in having recently just lost a person that's been like my brother for a long period of time, and in speaking with those people going through the first time on a first loss, I said, I can't feel sad. And the reason why I don't feel sad is because I know he's watching over my shoulder, looking on, grinning from ear to ear, because I'm well aware that he's right there. And if anything, more so than he ever had been previously. And if people were aware of that comfort of knowing that their child is watching, their child is excited, their child is clapping, that whatever their favorite song is that's being played, that, and that the tears that they have, to let those tears flow, let them go. It doesn't mean you're diminishing their memory at all. It doesn't mean people, I think, it sometimes come across as if, oh, you're making light of something that's terrible. Well, all I can say is thank God you are making light of it. We are of the light. The sooner that we understand that, the sooner we'll live on purpose instead of off purpose and be so caught up in all the distress.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just reminds me of well, she was a client, now she's a friend. And this lady lost her son. And she said to me one time, in the early time when I met her, she said, I'm never going to get a family photo taken again. We always had a family photo taken at Christmas, and I'm never going to get it done again. And I said, well, you should, because you've still got family here. You've still got 3 children. And it's like, you should get your family photo. No. So she stopped taking the family photo for about 3 years. I think it was about 2 or 3 years after, anyway. And then she rang me one day and she said, guess what? And I said, what? And I said, I bet you've had a family photo done. And she said, we did. And I feel so good. And I went, well, there you are. So it also takes time for the healing to occur. If you've just lost a child or a parent, of course you're going to grieve. Of course you're going to cry. I mean, I do. We all do. It's part of life. Grief is part of life. But at the same time, living is part of life. So it's saying, all right, I'm going to grieve now for, how many hours you want in the day, an hour or 2, and then go, well, hang on, there's other people. There's other people in my family, and most people would have another person to be with and share the day with, and to be happy with them. And then create that happiness for yourself. And for those, that have passed over, because it's really important that we live as well.
Exactly. I use a little mantra that I've been utilizing for a while now, and it's sort of I'm going to share it with others for a Christmas mantra, and it's the AAA standard, to have a AAA Christmas. That AAA rating is an easy way to remember it. And so it's 3 A's. The first A is to accept whatever's going on, whatever is, because to fight it is to create resistance within you, which is to create turmoil, which is to create more distress. So if we can't change things in the minute, simply accepting it is as it is. And then from accepting, if we move into allowing, for example, that we allow that people have different thought processes, different practices, different ways of being, different interactions, different intentions. Just because I allow someone else's intention to celebrate in a different way doesn't mean that that's my way, because what I'm coming into then is the third A, which is just appreciating the diversity that we're all a part of, that we're all able to demonstrate in so many different complicated fashions at this time of year. It's wonderful in moving into observer mode, in just accepting, allowing and appreciating, because then it doesn't catch on to me. It doesn't become part of, you used that word before that you didn't like, issue. It doesn't become my issue. So as Caroline Mice says, it doesn't become an issue in your tissues. It doesn't solidify as an experience. When I become aware by allowing, accepting, appreciating, I can then actually take it on board or release it. It puts me in a position of power for at Christmas time. So that's sort of my AAA mantra that I have for things going on, because I see lots of stuff that I think, especially the ex-cop in me comes up going, oh no, and it's like, no, allow, accept, appreciate, and then that way it doesn't attach to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I've got a poem.
Yes, let's hear your
You
poem.
want to hear my poem about a
It's a
dad?
Christmas poem, or is this one you've written?
Yeah.
Or
It's a Christmas
like,
poem, and I actually found it on the internet a long time ago, and I think must have been around the time that this first time I didn't have my dad for Christmas, and it goes like this: the nights are
is
long
this
and cold.
Oh no, yep. Sorry.
Sorry.
I'll keep going, Deb. Don't let me interrupt.
Okay. The nights are long and cold. The sun is hardly around. Christmas time is approaching. The snow will soon cover the ground. We don't have snow. We're in Queensland.
Yes.
Trees and lights are twinkling, stockings are being hung. The Christmas spirit is all around as carols are being sung. This Christmas is not the same, just a yearly memory. This house is not home anymore because you are not here with me. There will be sadness, there will be tears when I wake up Christmas Day. For this will be the first without you. Oh, I wish heaven was just a mile away. As we sit around the Christmas tree, emotions will be sad. Gifts for them, gifts for me, but none of them will say Dad. All I want for Christmas is to see your smiling face. I know it cannot happen because you're in a better place. Please, Dad, ring a bell for me on Christmas Day so I will know your wings and that you are okay. I am not looking forward to Christmas, but I know it's something I have to live through. I hope there is Christmas heaven because it is not the same here without you. Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful. And I think one of the questions just asked is, does the pain ever go away from a loss? And I guess Anthony Robbins was asked a similar question in the sense of how long is it going to take, to feel better? And his answer was, how long do you want it to take? And I think no one can dictate, I don't think, on another person's period of time for a loss. I think it's an individual thing that you start to find ways that you feel a bit better and a bit better and a bit better. And as moments attach on to more moments, you go longer periods that feel better. But I don't think the memory of it, for me, I know, I stopped counting when I'd lost over 30 loved ones of family and friends. So I had a loss every single year. I don't think the pain ever goes away, but I think you find better skill sets that enable you to live more in the moment than caught up in painful memories of the past.
Well, interesting because, I just had reading that, I had that twitch in my heart, and my dad's gone now 5 years, I think. It was 2011, January 2011, that he passed. But it was interesting. When I was actually in the early stages of my grief after my dad passed, Spirit said to me, now this is, I actually got a little bit angry at them actually, but they said to me, humans are only supposed to grieve for 3 to 4 months. When someone dies.
Yes.
And I went, and I sat there and went, nope, I'm not going to. I'm going to grieve longer. I love my dad. You can't tell me I have to grieve 3 or 4 months. How ridiculous are you? I was a little bit agitated by that. And then they said, 3 to 4 months, and they told me to watch it, like watch my own emotions. And I went, okay. So I was in grief, but I was analysing my grief.
Yes.
And from what I learned, very interesting, at the point of about 4 months after my dad died, I became busy in life again. So between the 3 to 4 months, life started going back to normality, let's call it. I started being busy. Now, the only time I grieve back then and now for my dad is when I allow myself to grieve. When I think about my dad gone, when I miss him, but I'm still thinking about him. So what I've been doing with a lot of my students is, and they come and they have a lot of pain. I mean, horrible, horrible, horrible pain. And some people have held on it for like 16 years. And what I get them to do, basically I tell a story and I put a different image in their head. And then I say, where's your grief? And they say, it's gone. I go, I know, because you know what? It's in your head.
Yes.
If you think that you're in grief, if you think about them constantly, now that's another thing I've noticed that humans do over, all my learnings and lessons. When someone dies, we think about them all the time. When someone's alive, we don't think about them all the time. We think about them maybe a couple of times a day, or 7 times a day, or 8 times a day, but not constantly. But when someone dies, they're in your brain. So
there are
it's
laws.
changing
Sorry,
your
Deb.
thought.
I'm going to interject. There are laws against people who are thinking about someone all the time and commit actions to it. It's called stalking.
That's funny. Yeah, well,
So
I've had a few of those too.
There are those people who do think about someone all the time, and they would be what we would call obsessed. So it's funny how in life we make it a criminal offence, but in death we seem to say it's okay. You now have permission to be obsessed about someone.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's why there's so much pain. But the thing is, also depends on who's died. If you've got a parent that's passed, the pain for you will be different to a parent that's lost a child, because there's different levels of pain. If I lose a friend, it's going to be different to losing my mum. If I lose my daughter, it will be different to losing my dad. That's the difference. And so different death pain or different mourning, the grief, it may take different treatments to actually help heal it. Now, the fact is that I've noticed with parents, that's the most difficult one. It really is, believe me. That pain is all your chakra cords get broken. Now, they're like umbilical cords out of your body. They all get ripped. And as a psychic, what I see broken glass going back into the parent's body. So you imagine sharp glass into a parent's body. Okay, it's the best way I can describe the pain of a parent that's lost a child. Now, we can smooth that out by Reiki and different ways of healing, and also your thought patterns and different things, especially your thought patterns, like think about other things in life, not the child that's passed all the time. And don't think they're past, talk to them like they're still here.
Exactly.
There's like survival techniques. So you can actually grieve for 17 years. Or you can grieve really deeply for 4 months and then get on with your life and then keep grieving off and on through the years, which I did. Or you might go down into an emotional breakdown. That can happen too. So grief is a very bizarre thing, and like I said, it's very individual, absolutely. But there are ways that I've taught people over the years and, learnt myself how to actually make it easier.
And it's important for people to understand that minimizing your grief is not minimizing your loss or the tragedy that has occurred. It is not meaning that you love anyone less. If anything, I think the fact that you can exemplify your love in action by spreading more of who you truly are, in being lighter, in being joyful, in refocusing, you're demonstrating how strong that love actually is. Because I've seen too many people hang their lives up, and I use that expression. It's like I see a knob on the door and they've just hung their life up on it saying, "No, you were the light of my life. It is gone, so therefore my life is gone." You don't have that right to hang that up on another person. That is so unfair and so outrageous that you should put that burden onto that individual, because they don't want that burden. Your life was given to you because you're the only one who knows how to live it. And if you don't know how to live it, I would suggest now is the time that you find out.
Yeah. So I got lost in all that then.
And well, there's I'm reflecting on a few different people that, for example, I'm thinking of one person in particular, that a person far removed from them has passed away. They've attended their funeral. They mourned the loudest. They wailed the loudest. They weren't even related to the person or linked. And I thought, when was the last time you saw this person? It was some 10 years ago. And I thought, this is not to do with the death of the person. This is to do with your stuff. And I guess that's the message that I was trying to get through there. Sometimes people put their stuff onto, this circumstance fits. Now I can hang it all up on that. And that is the grief.
That's what it is. Yeah, and the funny thing is, grief is all about us anyway.
Exactly.
It's about us. We want them back. We miss them. It's all about self. It really is. So it's like taking time out and go, hang on, I'll give myself a little bit of a break here. I don't have to think about the person. I can feel good. I still live. And, life is so short, so short. It really is. And I have a lot of compassion, a lot of love for people in grief. But at the same time, I know that you don't have to drown in it. at all. And that makes, it makes it hard for people around people, other family members to be around them. Children lose their parents because they're grieving for another child.
Yes,
Sorry?
exactly. And I think, to include them in their memories, for some people choose to have no sign of them in the house because it's too painful. Others would choose to have them present and make them the center and focus of their attention. We're certainly not here saying that there is one right way or one wrong way. We're just sharing ways that we know from ourselves personally that has worked for ourselves to lighten the load, to let go of the pain of the experiences. So I guess others that want to, let go of their pain and give themselves permission to let go of that pain. I think different cultures and different religions have it as very heavy, and it's not to say that's a negative on it. Again, it is as it is, but there are those that, it's ordained or somehow put as a wonderful thing, the greater the load you carry. And I don't think we were ever built as donkeys. We act as an ass at times, but that's as close we get to being a donkey.
And it is different for different cultures and different people. So, that's what I mean. We're all different in the world anyway. There's no such thing as typical. Everyone's got to live to their own belief system and honour themselves as well. So it's, however you want to do it, it's up to you. But if we can give a little bit of help to try and get you through it, that's great. Now, I've learned, and the other thing I've learned over many, many years, about myself, is I only take really, how we were talking about, we would listen to other people's messages and what they, sort of their help strategies and everything. Yes. I actually I don't watch YouTube very often or anything like that and listen to other people's, because I want the experience myself and I want to learn from my experience and how to heal my, pain and everything. But I get sometimes from people, well, how do you know how I feel? And I say, well, I don't unless I've had the experience. And often people say, because I work with a lot of parents and they've lost children over their lifetime or whatever. They've lost a child. I'm trying to get it out of my mouth, Rosie. It's coming.
Yeah.
But people have lost children, and they'll say, well, you haven't lost a child. And it's like, well, no, I've actually had miscarriages and, I've lost in that way. But also my son drowned at the age of 5. But I was blessed that I actually got him back. So at that point where my actual son was deceased, on the sand, we were in Noosa River, which the river actually, the current moves all the time. And I didn't know that. We just moved here. And he went swimming the day before and it was fine. The next day he went under. Now that current is really, really fast. It goes straight out to the sea. So I had all these people rush from the beach into the water. I went up 4 times for breath, and then when I went down the 4th time, I heard a voice say, the 5th time I went down or whatever it was, I heard a voice say, they've got him, go up. Well, my son was gone. He was dead. And he was a limp 5-year-old laying on the beach, and I could hear all these people saying, call the ambulance, turn him upside down, give him mouth to mouth. All this, the words weren't even really clear, but you could hear them. And I saw his soul above his body, and I screamed at his soul, like with all the power within the earth came up through my body, out of my mouth, and screamed at his soul. So I think today I have my son purely because I scared the, am I allowed to say that word? S-H-I-T, out of his, into his soul, and it jumped back into his body and he woke up. And everyone was like going, oh my God, how did that happen? But also, they looked at me going, oh, well, what's wrong with her? She's, where's she from? Because the energy it came out to get him back into his body. But in that moment, I felt the pain of a mother losing a child. And I said to Spirit, why did I have to have that experience? And they said, you had to feel the pain of what you're about to work with. And they meant humans that have lost kids.
Exactly. And I carried Dane in lifeless over in the US, so I understand the distress, and I worked in Archer where over 200,000 lives were lost, with people who were in grief and overwhelmment from an incident that occurred that took so many lives away instantly at a period of time that we were able to work with them with the trauma therapy that is a one finger touch technique that was able to just move them back into present. And that was the key part of the technique, was to get people, their minds out of what's been that you can't change. And the more you keep rehashing, and post-traumatic stress, all the rest of it is just rehashing and reliving what you cannot alter in this moment. What you can alter in this moment is bringing yourself back into the moment and finding more ways to lighten up, which laughter is always one of the best ones. So does Spirit have a light message for at the end of this close of 2016?
Well, it's really funny because I was just sitting here thinking of I call life the pop-up book syndrome. Everything that actually exists in your life is only what you can hear and see. Nothing else beyond exists. It's only a memory in your brain. Yes. So you should be able to enjoy everything that you can see right now. And that's the way you should actually live your life. Sorry, my daughter's come in and into the room and sort of got my train of thought then, everyone. I'm so sorry about that. But that's the key of even every end of year or start of the year or every day of your life. It
exactly.
Really is.
And if what's popping up is a big, fat, hairy monster that's really horrible and terrible that you don't want to face, then I'd go back to remembering, observing, or imagining what was good. That's right. For me the only use of the past, is to draw upon it when the present is too difficult.
Yeah, well, I was talking to a girl yesterday and she's going through a very, 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 very bad time at work. She's had an accident and the payout and everything's not coming and they're giving her a very difficult time. And I said to her, look, I know you can't leave. By law, she can't leave, silly, whatever. And I said, well, just go in there and put a fantasy in your head and send them love and feel compassion for them because they do know that they're doing the wrong thing by this girl. And so I said, will you just, flick all love back at them and compassion? And she got it. She said, yeah, I'm going to. And I said, put a fantasy in your head, really, through the day. Don't get stuck in their negativity because you can create the reality you want in your brain. It might be negative on the outside of you, but you don't have to be attached to that. And she got it. So she said, yes, I will do that. But, whatever's happening in your life, I think from Spirit or from myself, more to the point, because I am Spirit, I think you should, like I said at the start, look after yourselves a lot better than what you are. Mind your own business. Don't get involved in someone else's life. Love them. Send love to absolutely every person in this world because love is what's going to heal our planet. You don't have to like what people do, but you must love them. Don't judge anyone. Oh, my God, I could keep going and going and going. And be happy. And the best thing on Christmas Day is a damn good food fight.
Well, that's it. So for some festive spirit from Spirit, let's have a food fight on Christmas Day. That's the end. Okay, well, I better get going because I've gone over time. Spirit distracted me and I've gone way over. So we look forward to listening next week on more on Until Now, where we'll find out how you went Christmas Day. But thank you, Deb Webber, and have a sensational Christmas.
Lots of love, and I'm on Facebook if you want to find me.
We'll see you in the new year.
Rosie.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
You
Merry
too.
Christmas,
Thank
everyone.
you. Merry Christmas all.